Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the final best of three between Ardent Esports and Liyab Esports.
Yeah.
I'm Boots, this is Still Hungry, and we're gonna get in Champion Select in just a moment.
Actually, pretty much done with the first set of bans coming in. Trundle, Elise, and Brom will be removed, so Ardent Esports have actually been doing their homework. They've been looking at Liyab play through the lower brackets today, and they say, well, Trundle's pretty important for them, and so is the Brom, so we will remove that. Consequently, though, they will pick up the Rumble by themselves, and they will give away the set and Leona, which might be a bit of a problem because Jones now on the set. You kind of need a solution. You have to figure and problem solve this one out.
Yeah, set again, one very strong champion, very strong showing that Jones had on the champion earlier on in the day. Definitely quite the menace in the top lane. Not exactly sure how Harden is gonna deal with that. They
If
do lock in the
Mordekaiser
Rumble.
is left open, you could actually play Mordekaiser. I think it's not a bad matchup because Mordekaiser's base numbers alone just make it very frustrating. So it's kind of like fighting fire with fire, right? Set's base numbers are really good, so is Mordekaiser's. With the passive, the Darkness Rises, you do percentage health damage, so dueling is pretty good as long as you can dodge away from the true damage.
Doesn't lock. They don't lock it in the first rotation though. Does run the risk of getting the Mordekaiser banned out now in the second.
Jarvan will be removed, so are they looking to target the jungle pool right now? That might be the course of action for Liyab here. Meanwhile, it's Caitlyn Leona bot lane. This is not your run-of-the-mill pair that
Yeah.
you generally pick with Leona.
Don't exactly like the pick either myself. I mean, Caitlyn, you want to stay back, you want to farm, right? You have the range, you're happy poking. Leona is an all-in champion.
Yes.
These two champions don't really synergize all that well in the lane. Well, out of lane as well, not really the same win condition there.
Curious why they opted for the Caitlyn when, in a weird way, you could have gone for something more aggressive against Ophelia, so maybe it is a comfort pick, but speaking of comfort pick, we see the Nocturne ban out, and we also see the Lux being removed, so now moving towards pinching the jungle pool as well as target batting the opponents out.
Yeah, what's gonna be the last bet? Might continue pinching the mid lane pool. I would expect if they're gonna do that, it's gonna be an Ari of sorts.
Ari or Orianna, I think. LeBlanc is great as well.
Still plenty of choice though.
Yeah, so the interesting thing is Ardent's current draft, the Rumble can be flexed mid and top, right? And considering that the opponents have banned out Jarvan, you want something that can control some space. I feel like you need something to complement the Rumble to allow the Equalizer to be more effective.
True.
As I say that, the Echo will be locked in as the jungle pick here for Liyab.
I'm not exact. I'm trying to run through all the different picks in the jungle that you can actually
Rek'Sai,
go
okay.
for. With Rumble, I think the Rek'Sai Galio, I think that does the job of complementing the Rumble rather well.
Right now, it's going to be a top lane Rumble, mid lane Galio. So double AP composition, damage profile is kind of tricky until Aphelios comes online. I feel like if you are the Rek'Sai here, you kind of want to pay more attention towards the bot lane. Will be the Jace here coming in the mid lane to deal with the Galio, which is actually a really good matchup for the Jace. As long as you do not get repeatedly ganked, you have to manage the waves very carefully, otherwise you will be put behind by nature of how easy it is for Rek'Sai to gank you.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm looking at Liab's composition right now, right? You have the Echo. We've seen the champion be quite successful early on, able to pull off some interesting ganks, but I think a lot of that still lied behind the fact that Jones was able to get a hit, right? This set is, can be quite the menace in the top lane, like
Yeah.
we were saying earlier, and doesn't really need the jungler to give her all that much attention either. So I think this is one of the lanes that we really have to focus in on again, because in the past few games, Jones has been really, like, I think the main
Yeah.
driving factor behind their victories.
It's interesting also that Liyab has not had a game where Jones is behind, so maybe now if, that's sort of inverted, it might be very difficult for them to find a victory, or it might influence the way that they play the game in itself, because even though Jones was ahead, we also saw the macro itself had some room for improvements, let's just put it that way, right? Ardent now might be formulated, or at least might have already formulated a plan to deal with the top lane set. Rumble was an early pickup, early option, and Susie, actually watching her play yesterday also gave me a sort of a similar feel as when I watched Jones play. These are very carry style, heavy aggressive top laners.
Alright, we're gonna see who's gonna be the better aggressive top laner on the day in that case. What I do like to see though is that Liyab have drafted themselves a bit more of a siege-able,
Siegeable
siegeable
composition.
composition, if
Yeah.
that's a word. You do have all the poke, you have the Echo, you got the Jace, you got the Caitlyn. At long range, you're able to
Mhm.
poke out the enemy from beyond turret range, so if you're able to do that long enough, you'll eventually give yourself some alone time with that turret.
The side lane's also actually pretty good coming in for the side of Liyab because depending on who finds gold, right, you could always send set Echo or Jace to the side lane
Mhm.
and play 1-3-1 or 1-4. For the most part, I would highly recommend sending the Echo, who is very slippery, but as far as junglers go, you don't really get a lot of items and EXP to be scary in the side lane, so perhaps the set is the better option here.
Yeah, it's all about I think who's gonna
Mm.
be able to get ahead, right? I
Yeah,
think you send your strongest member, regardless of who that is, unless it's your bot lane, of
right.
course. On the other side, though, this composition is not something we see all that often. I think we don't see Rek'Sai.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, I'm not even sure if Rek'Sai is that strong in this
So it's
current
been
patch.
played in the LCS a little bit,
Mhm.
but the value of the Rek'Sai is just the ability to have very early aggressive pathing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, the Rumble and the Galio, we've seen Galio a couple times, right? Has been uh, rather impactful. Most
Mhm.
of the times we've seen him able to have that cross-map presence as well as pull off some interesting
Yeah.
ganks when the enemy is not really expecting it.
Like literally, back to the earlier Rek'Sai point. Literally, the fact that you can burrow from flanks and you
Mm.
can level 2 cheese people is one of the reasons why I think people do sort of value the Rek'Sai pick. But of course, in the grand scheme of things, it also brings a bit more AD to their composition because, like we mentioned earlier, the damage profile very AP laden in the solo lane. So you do need the Rek'Sai or something along those lines to make sure that there is a good damage spread. So normally we would expect to see uh, Guardian Angel as one of the options. You play similar to Nocturne, right? You try to get into the backline of your ultimate and also use the GA to put some pressure down on the Caitlyn.
Yeah, on the other side, though, Echo, I still believe that,
Mm-hmm.
Echo is the stronger jungler. Like, not only can you do what Rek'Sai does, you can
Yeah.
come in from unexpected
Mm-hmm.
angles, but you also scale slightly better into the late game, I
Yeah.
believe, and you will have greater presence around objectives as well. I strongly believe you have a better objective take on the Echo than the Rek'Sai.
Like Echo's strength also there's a certain amount of RNG to it, and this sounds weird, right? But the power of Echo is the fact that you have Chrono Break. Its
Mm,
cooldown is very low. If you keep rolling Mount Cloud Dragons, the cooldown of Chrono Break is actually
true.
reduced quite a lot, right? Because Cloud Dragons give you CDR on your ultimate. It will get to a point, and if you have enough CDR, Chrono Break's cooldown will be something like 30 seconds. 30 to 35 seconds. It's some ridiculous number. I remember
Yeah.
playing this because I wrote this RNG before. I'm like, this is so broken. This is the most broken thing I've ever had because you have enough AP to literally jump into the backline with Proto Belt on your E, and the moment you auto the AD carry, they have to flash. If you can get to them, they have to flash, right? And if you are taking a lot of damage, you literally just press R and rinse and repeat every 30 seconds. Oh, the sit-ups.
Yeah, man. Best taunt in the game. All right. Interested to see how this bot lane does. Obviously, you have the Leona, you have the Caitlyn. We already talked about how they don't really have the best synergy in the world. They did actually blind pick it, so had plenty of options, but they decided to go for this one. Maybe it's some sort of cheese, maybe some sort of strat that we don't yet know. Interested to see how that plays out. Once again, we see a 5-man stack in the bottom side for Ardent. Hopefully, I believe this worked out one time for them when Braum actually just, or was it Nautilus came in for a ward, but
They're doing this because they saw that Liyab did the 5-man stack last game,
oh, true.
so they are prepared for it. And because their 5-man stack is so good, they have Galio as well as Thresh and Rumble. Yeah, this is too good not to pass up. Just in case they come and invade, sure, we're ready. We'll probably take first blood and a bunch of extra gold, but what's the worst case scenario, right? We just protect the red buff and allow a good opening gambit for the Rek'Sai's jungle.
All right, nothing gonna come out from that 5-man stack. You can see that Rek'Sai will be starting blue side, along with the Echo as well. This is a good visual. It's a lonely man doing sit-ups in the bush.
Alright, so it's the Jace, like we mentioned, in the mid lane, and should be noted that this matchup usually goes the way of the Jace as long as you space properly. Of course, range into melee quite frustrating. There you go. Early trades as well.
Yeah, especially the fact that Jace is I would say slightly stronger earlier on just because he has multiple abilities that he can already proc at level 1. A bit of an overloaded kit, as is the case with most transforming champions.
Oh man, gotta love that Thresh kit.
So golden, so prestigious.
Bot lane is actually pushing up. I'm not sure if Den wants to hard force this because they do have a Leona. So level 2 available means that once they get level 2 rather, bot lane of Liyab can actually force ganks quite well.
Absolutely, but that is still a Caitlyn. It's not going to be that high of an impact earlier on. But then again, you do have to get a hit on Caitlyn to have any sort of meaningful impact later on in the mid game.
They were fishing for that hook. If you are Ardent right now and you like land that hook, you'd still be very hesitant about going in because you don't know if Den would be pathing bot side. If I was the jungler, immediately I path bot right now. But of course, this is like the higher percentage efficiency play going to take a red buff.
Yep, both junglers now continuing to shadow each other. I think both of them have hit level 3 by now. Mars shadowing the bottom side, now moving up to Raptors once again. Not exactly sure. You can see that with Echo in the top side. Not exactly sure to take a potential gank towards the top side. You can see the waves are actually rather equal right now.
Oh, just in time. The ward was put down, so I don't think Din can actually gank this.
Yeah, instead just gonna go for the Scuttle Crab. No contest.
Meanwhile, Rek'Sai is going to go for the bot Scuttle Crab. Marcy wants that, and with the Scry's Boom will actually spot out bot, not just the Scuttle Crab, but also the other Scry's Boom there. So it's like a buy one, get one free situation here.
Yep. Ooh, freeze frame. This one is a big one. Alright. Yep, just continuing to trade in neutral jungle camps is both junglers. Not exactly expecting too much action in the early game. That's the sort of thing with these grand finals or right? Both teams they just gotta play safe until like you hit like critical mass and everything explodes out the window.
Echo is sitting in the mid lane, actually looking to set up a play here. Parallel convergence is available if Janelle walks up to take this. Yeah, this is very precarious right now, getting hit by the accelerated shock blast. Will have to justice punch away, and now this wave is actually being set, so they could push this one forward and get it up so that Rocks can recall.
Yeah, Mars was actually positioning a little aggressively then, unsure whether or not they were actually trying to go for a bit of a dive. I think it would have been too early. It's pretty difficult to dive Leona this early on in the game. Any stages of the game, really.
This lane's still holding its own in terms of CS. Top side, Jones hasn't had that, overwhelmingly large pop-off plays that she's had. On the Renekton, no solo kills, no flash burn.
Yeah, we gotta give her some time. Set takes a little bit to get going.
Like we said, Suzy kind of holds her own against Jones. When I watch her play, it's kind of similar. Oof. Level 5 hit already. And this is a massive wave. I don't think Jones can really trade here. In fact, if I was Suzy right now, I kind of get this shoving as hard as possible and then go for early recall.
And absolutely having that good recall timing. Yeah. Suzy Sora at this point could be very beneficial against the impressive laner that is this set. Said they're going for another trade. Shouldn't be too difficult to get out of that.
Now she's slightly zoned out. Even though the wave is pushing, she can't really step forward because they don't have the timing on where the Echo is, and there's no wards in the river either, right? So you're kind of just hedging your bets. The Echo isn't on the top side, so you can walk up a little bit and still be in range of EXP.
Alright, we're seeing both teams really starting to center their vision game around the, I believe that's an Infernal Drake. Oh, that's a proactive play.
In. Galio moving in with the teleport. They actually get in range. A good flash play. And the taunt is going to catch the Leona as well. That's going to be a first blood by Ardent. Super decisive. A second hook coming through. Parallel convergence from Dan is going to stop them from walking forward even more. But the call was made right there. Ardent Esports started it up beautifully as the jump over the wall from Box. The ignite as well. The flash. Every summon spell used, but the kill claimed at the end.
Yeah, that was a play that we've seen Ardent pull off multiple times as well. In fact, I think I forgot about it until just then when they, so helpfully reminded me going bot to pick up several kills, get priority on the lane, and then transitioning that over to the Dragon. You can see that Jace was actually positioned there and managed to pick up a return kill, and now Liyab are the ones that actually pick up the Infernal Drake off the back of that trade.
I mean, yeah, of course, even though you start the play off, get the first blood, but getting picked off as you exit, of course, gives the Infernal over, and right now Liyab will get the first objective of the game. Gold is still in favor of Ardent with the first blood bonus, and a lot of people getting the assist goal from that as well.
Yeah, I like to see how both teams are actually very prepared, in fact, to go against one another. I think both of them have, strategies that they have individually practiced.
What surprises me is that Rox is actually behind in terms of CS in this range versus melee matchup, which should not be the case.
Ooh. Yeah, in that case, I think she's actually been roaming a little bit, especially into the bot lane to pick up that one kill on the Rex side. That being said, is gonna meet the other mid laner in the mid lane now.
She's very careful about how she's spacing because she knows Rek'Sai is most likely doing her camp or at least finishing up the buff, right? So she comes in from the flank, you can't really take the all-in. No such thing as a random Q in into a trade anymore, especially when the taunt is up for the Galio. So you need to respect the CC coming in until you get some sort of tenacity. I think tenacity is actually pretty important here. I would highly advocate early Mercury threats just because it's double AP and you need the tenacity.
Yeah, for sure. We're seeing Rek'Sai move towards the bottom side now. Interested to see how both these junglers path, right? Because where they go on the map is really where the influence goes. Because most of these laners right now, they are pretty much even. I like to see how top lane is even this time, though.
Yeah.
We're not gonna see Set pop off. Sure, he has about a 10 to 12 CS lead at the moment. It's not too large, and whether we see the same pop-up from Jones, I'll hold that.
Hold on as the gang comes in, using the Zenith Blade to get to the back. Meanwhile, here comes the hero's entrance, knocking up Jones, and the teleport might have been a mistake here as the showstopper brings them all in, and here comes the equalizer as well, hooking the ADC back in, and that's Fofi did already. Now Rox is gonna join in, trying to find something with the accelerated shock blast, but it is blocked out by Cha here. Then now streaming down the river, using the parallel convergence on Suzy, will not land the stun though as the flash brings the Echo in, and that's not what you want. You have the Chrono Break out.
Yeah, good flash to bring the Echo closer to your team, forcing the ultimate from the Echo. That was a good response, that was a good initiation from both teams, I think. It's just the fact that Ardent managed to inch out a bit of advantage in the engagement and does pick up the extra kill.
One thing you have to remember is that arriving on site at a fight, Galio and Rumble has so much more impact than the chase in the set because they need so much setup. They have to be in place, get the angles right, hit the perfect ultimate before they can even do anything. Whereas for Galio, the moment there's that zone on the floor, everyone just says run.
Yep, and that was a wasted ultimate, a wasted teleport coming in from the set. Is not going to have the same sort of global impact for the next few minutes at the very least. And now Rumble is the one with the extra kill. Ooh, in fact, does initiate the lane swap as Ardent, they start up the referral.
This is something that Liyab does, but Ardent has stolen the play from their playbook right now. They understand that because there is no dragon on the bot half, first we can take this. Why can't we take this? And then it's going to come here and find that the objective is very low. Might just go for the smite, but no, it's taken away. Having to flash out as well. The root from the Gravitum gun keeps them in place for a while, but at the end of it, Mars manages to smite down the objective.
Yeah, you can see that there was one play that Liyab certainly did not expect coming into this game. You can see that there was amazing vision setup coming in from Ardent. Very, very deep wards to spot out any sort of potential contest that came in from Den, so they were prepared when the Echo showed up in the Baron pit.
This is a cannon wave, so they will be able to slam the Rift Herald down. Parallel convergence coming through though to buy some space with the shield and the stun as well. A look at the Inferno gun, it's actually doing a decent amount of damage. They managed to get the tower plates here already. The hook not finding Jones nor Den means that there's no way to chase down. You still have to respect the damage from the Aphelios though, as Janelle is waiting on the wings. They are clearing out the wards, playing the vision game. Ardent looking like they want a hard commit here as the hook sails by, then manages to get out. Wings of War is there as well. They should be done. Top tier 1 will go the way of Ardent as the minions are slowly dying though. Flashing forward, I don't think Box wants to be there, everyone else is just backing off. You have to think there was an overzealous move by Rox there.
Yeah, definitely, but they do manage to save their tier 1 top tower. Nothing else on the map to to be taken. Ardent's just gonna back away and reset. Interested to see whether or not they return to, standard lanes now that the second dragon and Ocean Drake this time has arrived on Summoner's Rift.
Getting mid prio here is Janelle. She's just pushing up the mid lane. And on the recall, we did see Rox pick up a Serrated Dirk, which is lethality, and then you get the Merc Treads as well for tenacity.
Yep, we are seeing, actually not a lane swap, but most of the members of Ardent now streaming in towards the Dragon Pit. They definitely will have the capability to zone away any sort of engagement. Yeah, they're going in on the set though.
Going in onto the set, knocking him up the hook as well. This is actually changed pretty well, but the Grit Shield, oh my goodness, the knock-up. Here comes the hero's entrance, buying space. The Chrono Break out means that Echo is going to be able to dodge out from this fight. Where's the focus now though? It's going to be Susie Sword that's extremely low. The Infernum Gun coming in. Cha doing a lot of damage. Looking for a bit more. The crescendo. Can they kite this one out? Look at the sentry being put down as well. It's a double kill already for the AD carry. Cha doing a lot of work. And like I said, don't play Lucian when Aphelios is open.
Yeah, Aphelios is doing a lot of work in that team fight now. They aren't in a position now to contest the dragon, so sure, you could trade a few kills, but you don't give away the dragon either. Not exactly sure if that's worth, but better than nothing coming from Liyab.
All the goal now has been centered on the AD carry, who picked up majority of the bounties earlier. This is going to be dicey. If you are Liyab, you have to focus down the Aphelios because Essence Reaver is the break point right now. Even though the Caitlyn has the Storm Razor, you could see Aphelios doing a lot more work in comparison to a counterpart.
Yeah, we spoke about yesterday. We spoke about how last qualifier. I think it was Thailand qualifiers. We did speak about how Leona was that counter pick that is rather effective into the Aphelios. But when the Aphelios is this far ahead, 2-0 and 3, I find it increasingly difficult for this Leona to have that sort of impact, to have those sorts of engagements that can shut down the Aphelios.
I mean, the idea is that Aphelios is super immobile. If you don't have the right gun configurations... Oh, hold on. Another fight breaking out. Good taunt on the Echo. Remember that this is a jungle Echo with low income. Hasn't even finished the jungle item yet, so very little you can do to take these duels.
Yep, you can see the Vision War continuing around the Dragon Pit right now. Liyab clearly in the advantage. They're actually just going to take the advantage and begin the Dragon. But keep in mind, they don't have any deep wards, so they don't know what's behind that pit. Oh, that's
finding the snipe there. They're going in. They're trying to find the double taunt, and they will. The Solar Flare actually only locking up the single Thresh. Set managing to land the damage with the Showstopper. And here comes the rest with the Gravitum Gun, finding a snare onto 2. Fofi left completely untouched until the Equalizer comes in with the hook. And I think Liyab have to scatter like the wind now. Cha should be able to finish her off. Looking for the Q. Just managing to get outside the range.
You can see how practiced Cha is on this Aphelios, right? Waiting on the Graviton Gun until all of her team is ready to engage before activating the snare. Unfortunately, does leash the blue buff for Jace, but I guess that's a small price to pay for the Ocean Dragon.
They get double dragons, and now it will be mountains all the way. I say they. It's one dragon apiece for both Liyab as well as Ardent.
0 Cloud Dragons though. Unfortunate for the Echo.
It's not like the Echo is having the best game of her life as well. She's 0-2 and 2, just barely managing to finish up the Runic Echoes. Then with getting her Trundle band out, now having to default and swap over to Echo, hasn't had the success that she's had in the previous games.
Yeah, sort of being shut out on this champion at the moment. Rather Jones on this set has not been having the phenomenal performances that we were expecting either. Did manage to pick up that 1 kill near the Dragon Pit, right? Overall, not having the best game this tournament. That being said, it's still only about a 1.8k gold lead in favor of Ardent, so
I like that.
Nothing too large.
I like that Liyab's top laner has been neutralized. Like, they came up with a plan actually. It looks like they told Rumble just, oh, hold on, they will find Jones here. Actually finding the Lantern in as well. A lot of damage, but here comes the ult from the Rek'Sai, actually landing, forcing Jones away. Chrono Break from the Echo gets her out.
A lot expended there, including the teleport from Susie sort of get back into lane.
That was a bit too much, I think. You didn't really need the teleport there.
That's a bit much, but at the end of the day, they do manage to secure not only top tier 1 turret at the end of that trade, but now they are a 5 stack, or rather a 4 stack around the Rift Herald. Fox and Den, though, they want to do something about this.
Yep, managing to land a hook and equalizer as well. They will get the Rift Herald though, as Rox has to flash away from the taunt. They get the objective, but they will lose their bot tier 1, which is a completely okay trade, I think, because now you can slam Rift Herald in the mid lane and open up the map a little bit more by getting mid tier 1.
Yeah, they're able to find some cross-map trades here, placing down the Rift Herald in the mid lane. So it's going to be a second turret going in favor of Ardent. Might actually get a second charge of the Herald rather off on the inner turret as well.
Just so scary on this stretch. She's always waiting in the flanks, looking for an angle to land a hook. Like you mentioned, getting the second charge, but not enough to take down that structure.
Yep, they're actually going to reset. I thought they were strong enough to actually just wait for the second wave to push in and, you know, subsequently take the turret entirely, but taking the safe road is Ardent. They're just going to back away, they're going to reset, they're going to take their buys, they're going to bide their time.
Items coming through, the Gallo will finish off the Proto Belt, meanwhile it's a Zeal for the Aphelios. Zonia's Hourglass was already done for Suzy earlier, and Zeke's Convergence for Gia now. So the moment she pops the box, there's going to be, you know, that bonus effect on auto attacks with Aphelios, because they are, I imagine, going to be tagged up together. Similar for the Leona, who is tagged up with the Caitlyn.
Alright, we are not seeing any more objectives for the next few minutes on the map, so we are going to return to a default map state. I think lane assignments are going to return to how they were before the initial lane swap.
What's difficult right now for Jones though is she doesn't have a tier 1 to rely on, so there's only so far she can push, right? True. She can't side lane that well anymore, she's just going to have to push and back off. If Suzy wants to just freeze the wave outside her top tier 1, she can do so, no problem. And Jones will be denied a lot of farm. But instead, she will just look to clear it and play ping pong with the waves.
Yeah, playing ping pong with the waves for Suzy Sor here does eventually free her up to do more across the map instead of just being tied up, freezing the wave in top side while Set is allowed to roam. You can see that Set does have priority, is roaming, but Ardent, they actually are setting up a bit of an ambush here towards the bottom side. Den has to be careful here.
Den, using the parallel convergence for the vision inside, actually dives in and goes on to the front line now. The chrono break is available, so might have to pop that instantaneously. Meanwhile, coming in with the hero's entrance is actually getting denied. There's 2 quick kills already for Liyab in this choke. They find 3, they find 4, and suddenly it's looking very bad for Ardent Esports because they were in that choke and all the CC was enough.
Yeah, Chow stepping forward at the back of that fight, a little too overzealous. That could actually 1v4, not gonna happen. You're not strong enough yet on the Aphelios, so that is a very favorable trade for the side of Liyab, now equalizing the goal to only about 600 in difference.
In that small choke, you could see the power of the parallel convergence as well as the solar flare. If you stack up, one of this is gonna hit you, either one, right? And then you're locked up, you can't really kite away from that space.
Alright, resetting the map. Once again, both teams going back to get their buys. We will see the next dragon now spawning is going to be a Mountain Drake for the rest of the game. And Ardent, they are the first ones to the pit.
One must imagine that that was an expensive lesson for Ardent, but a lesson well learned. So now they know, okay, we can't fight in chokes anymore, guys. We have to respect the CC. Open spaces is where it's at. Chokes, not so much.
Alright, starting up the dragon. Ardent is probably going to take it. Not really anyway for Liyab. They're going to try to get in though.
Yeah, they will try to get in. A decent taunt actually locks 3 members upset, using the showstopper to knock everyone back. And this time, in this open space, it's everything coming up Ardent Esports. They're kiting away. They managed to find a bit more exit kills, but less completely untouched in the backline. Chow will eventually find some kills. Hold on. Turning this one around though.
Alright. Liyab does manage to turn that fight around. It did look like Ardent Esports was going to be the eventual winner of that fight, but a little bit of overextension, a little bit of uncohesiveness coming in from the Ardent lineup means Liyab is able to capitalize, is able to put down adequate damage to take out majority, well, actually all of Ardent's champions.
I think Fofi left completely untouched in the backline was actually popping off. I thought that the Aphelios was going to be able to do something there, but they managed to single him out, so this is very dicey now. It's 2 back-to-back bad fights. If you're Ardent Esports, you might be a bit nervous.
Yeah, you certainly cannot continue taking these sorts of fights without being on the same page as the rest of your team. This is like the solo queue game where everything is going super well until 20 minutes in the game, then suddenly you take 2 bad fights and, you know, your opponent just comes back and ruffle stomps you. certainly not wanting to face that reality is Ardent. It's now about 1k actually for Liyab in the advantage.
Parallel convergence into two members though, but the chrono break who's then out. It's a decent stun, forcing the box out. Fofi left completely untouched, like we said, will do a lot of damage. This Caitlyn now with the Storm Razor Executioner's calling as well as the BF Sword. Getting to Infinity Edge point.
Yeah, now they have the inside track onto the mid lane turret. Nobody here for the side of Ardent to defend it, so they're going to take this down. They're going to be able to open up the map. They're going to enable themselves to look for other objectives at a much faster rate.
Blue buff being started up. Should be donated over to AD carry, I believe. Needs the gold. Core items actually being finished on the Jace right now. We saw early Yomu's Ghostblade. Now it's going to be the Edge of Night. So that pseudo AD Banshee's Veil, if you will.
Alright, I like to see that, you know, Kofi has been doing rather well in these fights. Has now, I think, gone out of the power trough. We really didn't see it because most of it was spent farming. I don't think Ardent really capitalized on the weakness of the Caitlyn well enough. So now, Caitlyn, I think, is properly online, and these next few fights is going to be quite the menace that Ardent has to focus down if they want to win.
Disjointed recalls from both teams, so finally going back, Suzy Sword is going to pick up the Haunting Guys. Sword Book's Haunting Guys and Zonya's Hourglass. I wonder if that is enough for them to team fight. Still seems a bit dicey, not gonna lie.
Yeah, Den was looking a little overextended there, just going in for the control. What did run the risk of being collapsed on as she had no backup in the Baron pit, but nope. Ardent decided we're not gonna look for that trade, and yeah, actually they're both, you know, sort of looking to face off around the Baron pit right now.
There's a war being thrown out. A bit of an AREF situation going down. Both teams with the side lane allocations a bit jumbled up right now.
Yeah, with the gold this even, it's not something you see all too often, so you could wager it's not something that either of these teams are very familiar with. Both these teams, I think, have been pretty experienced with having the lead at this point in time, so
which
now
is what we said earlier, when Jones isn't like finding her own leads, if she isn't like smashing the enemy top laner, Liyab seems a bit lost because they can't play around the linchpin of their team. Because of that, now both sides are just kind of wandering around, thinking about what the next best move is. Of course, Infinity Edge completed on Caitlyn means that there is a small power spike that Liyab can abuse. But also remember that their composition is AD heavy. Damage profile is all physical. Over time, you get enough armor, Set as well as Caitlyn and Jace don't do as well in fights.
Yep, it all comes down to who's going to be able to play better from this state in the game. Then going in to check the Baron. That's a lot of darkness in that river. Definitely doesn't want to step up too far. Does manage to back away before Ardent can engage.
Thing is that Echo can just check if they need to because he has the corner break. So if you get unless they one shot you, if you get hooked, you can still pop corner break and just back off.
Yep, and within the next minutes, it's still gonna be the second Mountain Dragon spawning for this rift. Liyab is beginning to transition their positions over to the smaller objective. Once again, there aren't any really deep wards for either team, right? It's very difficult for each team to really spot out the other in the fog of war in the enemy jungle.
This spot was where it all went wrong the previous time for Ardent. Now they're eating a bit of poke.
Echo on flank.
Echo on the flank looking for the play. Doesn't have the space though. Actually flashes across and now will get isolated. Chrono break not even used. And that's the dead jungler. Meanwhile, the equalizer on the back line. Jones very low already. That's a double kill for the Aphelios and all the chakrams. The Graviton gun coming out as well. The hook is just icing on the cake. But Caitlyn, Fofi left completely untouched again. Finding all the kills with the Quadra there.
You know, I don't know what's going on. Turns out Caitlyn Leona's pretty good. In that fight, it looked decisively Ardent up until, you know, Fofi managed to flash in and pick up the Quadra kill. Very impressive on this champion right now. Does manage to secure for themselves
what is going
the
on?
second Mountain Dragon.
Literally, they win up till they lose in like the last 2 seconds of the team fight.
Yeah, you could see that when Echo flashed in and basically stunned, nobody managed to die without even using
It's
the
like,
ultimate.
oh well, this fight
I
is
was like,
over. It doesn't matter, right?
yeah,
And
and then Fofi just shows up and kills everyone. What's going on?
turns out if Jones doesn't pop off, the AD carry will. So Liyab having Plan B and Plan C.
Plan B is the Caitlyn, Plan C is the Jace. Both these, both these laners right now looking super duper strong. I'm pretty sure Liyab, this was not the game plan. They're not doing, the most proactive plays around these two carries, but they're doing well enough for themselves being reactive when Ardent decides to engage on them.
Runan's Hurricane allows the Graviton to be applied much quicker. They are clearing the vision around the Baron pit. Set is the designated bot lane's split pusher.
Yeah, the teleport Jones is not going to have the same impact as she did in the previous few games in this side lane. It's not going to be able to push up as far as she might be used to, but does manage to play it safe. Is now pathing up through the river to group with the rest of her team.
Looking for the Scuttle Crab right now, but like you said, want to rejoin the rest of her team and maybe make a...
Oh no, she's puffing back down. Alright.
She was just craving for some Scuttle Crab. Now she's going back to push out the wave.
Yeah, we are seeing the vision dance around the Baron, sorry.
The Liyab composition actually pretty good at taking Baron, even though they don't have a true tank. Yeah. They have enough sort of shielding and pseudo lifesteal to juggle aggro enough to take it. Caitlyn's pretty big. Like, she could probably do enough damage to take Baron.
Just gonna have to see what the Caitlyn does in the ensuing team fights, because we've seen, this Caitlyn pop off in the previous few fights now. I think Ardent, they've gotten the message that, hey, if we want to win these fights, we have to shut down the Caitlyn. And it's just not going so well for them so far. So I think they are gonna be, starting to gun for that Caitlyn in the upcoming team fights, and just have to be a little bit more aware in case the Caitlyn does manage to get spotted out and shut down.
The past back-to-back fights have not gone the way of Ardent at all.
True.
So if you want something to change, like you said, maybe you need to start focusing down the Caitlyn, make her feel unsafe so she can't just stand there and auto-attack you to death.
You see, they're playing a little defensively, right? They're playing rather reactionary. Is going... Okay.
Oh, jumping into the parallel convergence. They're already bursting down the Thresh, though, who's very low. Here comes the Gallo in the backline. Caitlyn now actually caught off guard. Fofi having to flash away and use the heal as well. Rek'Sai toweling down on her, but she will kite away. Now this is going to be horrible for Ardent Esports because they couldn't get the Caitlyn. They full committed, and now even with the equalizer, it only allows them to just cover their tracks and back off.
Yeah, 1 for 2. Good effort on the part of Jones in that teamfight to distract basically the entirety of Ardent's back line, as Caitlyn basically kited away from the Rek'Sai and did manage to pick up that 1 kill. So that is Mars, the jungler for Ardent, not on the Rift, which means Liyab, they don't have a smite to worry about. They can take down this Baron, but on the other side of the coin, Ardent, they are pushing into the base.
I don't think they will get the inhibitor. At most, they get the inhibitor turret because of the Baron empowered recall. So Ardent will open up the base. Have to see if Liyab can make a power play with this Baron buff, because their composition, honestly, like we talked about earlier, excels at sieging. Because you have the Jace, because you have the Caitlyn, the range is there. And now Set, playing in the side lane, gets a bit more space to maneuver because of the Baron buff.
Yep, next objective on the map is gonna spawn relatively soon. No wards for either team really to spot out the other in this Dragon Pit. You can see Liyab, they're trying to get some vision onto the back of the pit to see where Ardent is doing. Not very successful though, at the moment.
You're just clearing out the control wards inside the pit right now. Like you said, jostling for vision control.
Yeah, looks like they're just gonna sort of neglect. Oh, we're going in.
Going in, finding the hook. The Chrono Break actually chunks out Gia. Now here comes the ace in the hole. Flashing away but getting caught out still. That's the support down, and the kill credit going the way of Fofi. It's a 5v4 for Liyab. They're not afraid. They know they have the man advantage, which is why they're walking up.
Yeah, once again, another failed engage on the side of Ardent. Just donates another kill, Gia, to the side of Liyab, and now with the numbers advantage, they're gonna start up the Mountain Dragon. You would think they're gonna get it.
Don't have the smite though on Den, so this could be very tricky. Look at the Chakrams coming in, the equalizer as well. Eventually they will claim it. Den finishes off the kill, and man, I don't think that Rek'Sai should have gone in for the steal there. They just donate another kill over the Fofi.
Yeah, Fofi legendary now on this. Caitlyn has been doing so much, and once again, even though Jones is this far behind, he has been excelling in just distracting majority of the Ardent lineup throughout the entirety of these fights.
Yeah, literally just zoning members away by virtue of being present. Very, very difficult for anyone on the side of Ardent to even go towards Fofi. On this recall, I think she should be able to pick up the Phantom Dancer, and that should seal the deal. Instead, goes for a static shift.
You have to shut down this Caitlyn if you want to win any of the following fights if you're this Ardent lineup. I mean, in the previous few fights, I believe, none of them have gone the way of Ardent, solely because the Caitlyn is so damn fed.
11-2 and 9 the scoreline, and right now Jones is going to go to the top side to push the top tier 1 in. Finally, maybe knock down the structure and open the top half of the map up. We neglected to mention that the previous dragon that they got gave them the Mountain Soul, which is why they all have this white bar above their head. The shield is actually very valuable because every time you don't take damage for more than a certain amount of time, it regenerates, right? So sieging and, you know, sort of fishing for picks becomes that much easier when you have this leeway to play with.
Yeah, basically whatever you want to do, this shield is going to make it so much easier for you to accomplish it. They're just going to siege down the mid lane turret without any sort of contest. And when Caitlyn is this strong, once again, it's just so difficult to match her in the lane. Even if you're on the turret, she just continue poking you out.
Split coming in, 2 members will be on the top side pushing for top tier 2. The hook was very close there.
Yeah,
if we hit the Caitlyn, I'm sure they would have started the fight.
I don't think they would have. I mean, they weren't close enough. I think if the Thresh, maybe a little trigger happy, jumping in probably would have died.
Things coming in, the reset following through, but is cancelled eventually. Right now, Liyab in the driver's seat, and Ardent can't really do anything but hope to a good team fight.
We've seen Liyab in this position before. Walking up a little aggressively here, but in the previous few games where they've been in this position, they haven't really been able to siege down the base turrets all that effectively. Now with this composition that they've drafted, it's gonna be significantly easier, but it still comes down to whether or not they have the game plan, whether they're gonna execute well on that game plan.
What I'm curious is it a compositional thing or is it an execution thing? Because it's fine, you know, in the previous game you guys played Lucian, low range, you can't really siege, it's okay. Right now, though, you do have the Caitlyn, which makes it a lot easier for you to just walk up and auto with the rapid fire cannon. So I'm not sure if they are not confident sieging or if they just don't know how to play with this composition properly.
They've been playing very reactionary, right? They've mostly been waiting for Ardent to make some sort of mistake before going in. And if Ardent, they just continue to turtle down and play safely in this way, I don't see Liyab really, you know, trying to rock the boat all that much. And the truth of the matter is that you have to look for proactive fights if you want to begin taking down these inhibitor turrets.
Only outer turret left is in the bot lane, so you can see the spam pings coming in from Liyab. They're like, let's go and walk down and take this, please. And if Ardent decides to mount a defense here, it could be a way for them to get into the fight.
Yeah, you can see that there are wards in the bottom quadrant of this jungle. Den is hanging around just on the flank, just in case, you know, Ardent makes an engage or some sort of mistake that they can capitalize on.
Vision being put down, actually contesting and jostling for this rip buff here. Should go the way of Fofi with the last auto attack. 1400 crit. My goodness.
Woo. Yeah, it's just late game Caitlyn for you. I mean, she's way past the power trough that she was in the mid game. Basically, untouchable. If you don't get to her, you don't slam enough damage onto her, she's not gonna die. And the fact of the matter is she has 3 mountain dragons and the mountain soul, just making it that much easier, that much harder rather, for Ardent to get onto her in the upcoming team fights. You can see they are in a 4-stack right now, just daring for this Ardent squad to walk in and face check through this darkness. They are going to walk in, but I'm not sure if they're going to walk into the bush that they want.
managing to land a stun on the Thresh, and once again, it's gonna be Gia that's the sacrificial lamb. Hero's entrance in is a bit unfortunate because now you fully committed in and Janelle has to flash out. There's no reason for you to stick around. You've lost the support, you teleported in as well. I think that's an overcommitment on just defending the support.
Yeah, for sure. Should have just given the kill over that teleport. Being channeled after all the action had subsided now. Basically conceding any sort of map pressure that the Rumble could have had with that Summoner spell. And they're going to concede the Baron Nashor without any further contest onto the side of Liyab. Now, they have the Baron buff. And they have this wonderful siege composition. They have Mountain Soul as well.
Elder is coming up as well.
Oh yeah, this is going to be, I think, our first Elder that we are going to be seeing throughout the entire qualifiers. Did you see any during Vietnam?
There were a couple of... I think there was one Elder during the Vietnam qualifiers, but that being said, the teams do understand that... Oh, wow. Okay.
Okay.
The teams understand that the Elder Dragon is a definite win condition. Like, you get Elder, you win the game.
Yeah, it doesn't even matter if you're not the one with the soul. If you get the Dragon, this increases your damage output ability all that much. The question now becomes whether or not Ardent is going to be able to contest this, because they are right now at a significant damage deficit.
It doesn't matter if you just mill about the Elder Dragon, because Jones is eventually going to get the top turret. They will match teleport for teleport, so Janelle's on the top side and so is Jones. They both have TPs, they can join in if they want to, but I think they're just conceding this and actually walking into the base. Cha here might not be able to finish this one off. They thought they had an inside track, but Jones will TP back to defend this with the Elder Dragon.
Yeah, that ain't it, Chief. That was just a little bit overzealous. Definitely not going to have to be able to end the game there on the side of Ardent going in. What is this?
Rocks. Interesting play, setting things up for the rest of the team coming in. They managed to land a lot of damage onto the front line. Cha already finding the kill on top of Den. Rox gets the jungler, and right now it's up to Cha whether she can bring the damage. It's a double already, looking for the triple, possibly trying to pop off here. Gravitum Gun will root them up. Rox, though, manages to get the execute, but Cha, the Aphelios, is well and truly online, landing the root as well as the Qs, and that's gonna be the kill. Meanwhile, in the bot lane, Fofi wasn't there. She's pushing in, so it's a quadra for the Aphelios, but Cha cannot do anything to defend.
Yeah, the Aphelios backing right now, and the Caitlyn continuing to push up. It's gonna be a 1v1 between the AD carries for the game, basically, unless Fofi decides to reset, which it does look like she's gonna do. So no intense 1v1 just yet. Not exactly sure what Liyab was trying to do there with the engage without your AD carry. Just, you know, that was the proactive play that we like to see, right?
My favorite part is they just threw four Elder Dragon buffs away. I'm just like, why, guys?
I don't know, man. I see Rox jumping in, basically inting at that point. Not exactly sure what the call was. Especially, again, your AD carry wasn't there. That's your main damage dealer who was pushing bot lane. So, sure, you managed to pick up one inhibitor turret, but was it exactly worth it? I think had they brought the AD carry to that fight, right? Had they executed on it better, I think they basically would have won the game by now.
They would have cleaned up after just taking Elder and walking in.
That being said, it's still a 10k goal lead, right? There's basically no way for Ardent to get back into this game. So you have to think it's just going to be a few more minutes on the clock before the game ends.
Yeah, just have to dot the I's, cross the T's, and look to walk it in. Fofi still has the Elder Dragon for a couple more seconds, I believe. They're playing Protect the Caitlyn right now, so as long as they can siege together and Caitlyn is left untouched, Fofi will deliver on the promise of damage.
I believe Caitlyn actually went for the Elixir of Iron, so she's just that much tankier and harder to kill, especially on the Rek'Sai, who will be the main force jumping in to try to kill her. So
top lane Den is pushing in as the Echo, who is super slippery, understandably so, can have her play on the side lanes. This is what I'm talking about. You know, earlier you can send almost anyone to the side lane, right? Set, Echo, or Jace. It just depends on how you want to match it. Eventually will wear off though. There is your Elder Dragon gone, so no more Elder Dragon buff available, but walking it in now is Liyab. They will open up the inhibitor turret and the inhibitor as well. Now they're moving to the top side in transit, looking for the second inhibitor. This should be now or never for Ardent Esports. If they're going in, they have to go in now. They're trying to land a taunt. They will not find it on the AD carry. Slamming him back though with the equalizer out down in the center. Fofi will find the first kill and get the inhibitor as well. Looking for the second now. Getting the Galio. Still looking for more. Fofi just wants the damage. Just wants the kills. That's a triple. Getting her counterpart. Looking for the Quadra here. Where is the Penta? Come on, Suzy. Give it over. Give it over. Give the Penta.
Boo.
Game is over before the Penta can be picked up. And game 1 of this best of 3 goes the way of Liyab.
Does in fact go the way of Liyab. Not the cleanest execution, especially since Jones wasn't the the pop-off monster that we used to see in the previous few games. I think they have a little bit of cleanup when their top laner is unable to snowball, but overall, the ability for Fofi to really just put the team on the back and carry them all over the finish line is definitely commendable. Look at that damage from the Philios, just unfortunately not being able to do too much.
Yeah, that's the thing, right? Because of the range discrepancy, understandably so, if you're dueling with the Crescendum or the Severum, you're not going to be able to get into range of the Caitlyn, so of course she's going to auto-attack you to death. And they really tried the last part to try and get into the backline with Galio and taunt them all up and make one last stand, but it was just not enough. Looking back right now, if you look at this draft, you have to think, is the Galio worth it? Is the pick even worth the commitment to play a composition around the Galio? Because ostensibly Galio functions as a bruiser, it's CC, it's a frontline tank, but then you're relying solely on the Aphelios to do damage, and maybe you need to relook at the charts and see what could be improved upon.
I think they played pretty well though. In that last team fight especially, I think both teams really played their hearts out. I think when you look at how that fight went, both Aphelios and Caitlyn were basically untouched until their front lines died. That's the front-to-back team fight that both AD carries won. And it just really came down to the fact that, the Liyab roster was just that much tankier over the Ardent counterparts that allowed the Caitlyn to snowball and end the game.
Okay, with that, guys, we will be going for a short break. Game 2 of this series will be coming up soon. Of course, it is at match point. If Liyab win this, they will be the FSL Philippines representatives for the League of Legends edition, and they will be joining us in Singapore if they win, of course, on the later dates of March. But for now, guys, we'll go for a short break. We'll be right back. Don't go anywhere. It is match point right now in the grand finals of the Philippines qualifiers FSL League of Legends edition. Once again, I am Hungry Cast alongside me, Spoots. We'll be bringing you all the action as we approach the pick and ban phase. Game 2 underway. We already see the Mordekaiser, Renekton, as well as Ornn banned, so a bunch of top lane bans in general. The Trundle as well as the Caitlyn. The Caitlyn, I think, decent ban.
Decent ban.
Yeah.
Cha looking... wait.
What's Fofi on the Caitlyn?
Fofi did look very, very practiced on the Caitlyn. And, Cha on the Aphelios was actually not that bad either. It was just, sort of the rest of the team that was faltering around her. So, not really banning it out, wondering whether or not they're going to pick the Aphelios for themselves on the side of Liyab.
Right now, MF is left open, so Liyab might be looking at that option. Okay. There you go. Of course, it will be picked up. The response here, historically, we see MF on one side, and then the response is always something like a Braum Lucian or historically just Braum Lucian, I think we've seen today. Right now, they could also look to pick up the jungle pick for themselves. I think Jarvan is one of the highly contested ones, and Ardent might be favoring that a bit more.
Yeah, Jarvan, again, one of the best junglers in the current iteration of League. There's going to be MF Leona lane, very strong. Definitely has the potential to really deal a lot of damage against the Braum.
I think they want Orianna, but they're worried that they will get counter-picked. So they're going to go for Echo first. And I think Orianna is in the back of Liyab's mind. They're just considering whether they want to do Orianna or Lux. And that usually entails banning the LeBlanc or the Assassins that they feel is a tough matchup for them.
For sure. Now we do see the Lucian locked in. It's probably going to go into the bot lane with the Braum. A pair of champions that we've not been able to see pop off just yet. They haven't had really the best impact in the game, right? Definitely want to see whether or not it's going to be finally the breakout performance for this duo.
So Lux is going to get banned out, which means that Rox is not going to get her comfort pick as it stands. Looking for the next, that will be the Galio. Okay, interesting here, because I think the Galio is actually quite low value as a pick.
Yeah.
It was able to impact the map on a global scale. It's just that when you scale into the mid to late game, if you're not hitting 4 or 3-man taunts, you're basically not doing anything.
Well, and in this this sort of match point sort of game is gonna definitely get into, well, I won't say definitely, most likely gonna get into later stages of the game. So Galio might not have been the best pick. Now
Never
banned
look
away,
back.
definitely not going to see him
Jace,
either way.
okay. So
Jace was actually quite strong in the previous game as well, so worthy of the ban. They banned the Orianna themselves though.
So right now they know that they've more or less banned out all of Rox's safe comfort picks, which she has shown today, the Lux as well as the Jace and the Orianna, banned by themselves. They were probably afraid of the first pick Orianna with the Jarvan because the danger is there. Cataclysm with Shockwave usually still can eviscerate fights. The Rumble here though is kind of tricky. It's still a flex pick like I mentioned earlier. Can send it to mid and top, but right now you're just kind of waiting to see what the matchup is. If it's a melee champion, just take the Rumble into mid lane. If it's a melee mid, rather, is what I mean. Just take the Rumble to mid lane. Otherwise, you can still put the Rumble top and figure out what you want to play for mid.
Alright, we're going to see the Kled coming in for the Jones. Once again, another bully champion. We saw her really pop off on the Kled as well previously. Did not have the best performance in the previous game, but even so, if you actually took a look at the levels, right, even though she didn't pick up as many kills, she was actually the first to hit level 18.
Yeah.
So definitely did quite a lot in the form of distraction for her team, even though her KDA not exactly the best to write home about.
They don't know what the best mid to play in this situation is, so they're thinking LeBlanc. In this case, I'm actually inclined to play Rumble in the mid lane. Like, I don't mind playing Rumble into LeBlanc, honestly. Playing Ahri into LeBlanc is switching your attention towards being one single type of damage profile, which is AP solo laners.
Yeah, AP solo laners, and you know, this just increases the need for Lucian to really get a early game lead, because once that Lucian falls behind, that damage profile in the form of AD just diminishes so very much. Jarvan is of course AD, but you know, he's not gonna have that much impact post 20 minutes because of the fact that he is a jungler.
Right. That sounds kind of weird, but I wouldn't have mind putting the Lucian in mid or top and flexing roles with the Rumble, and then playing a mage in the bot lane actually. That would have been a decent way to play out this competition as well. I do like the idea of like Syndra bot lane. It's still pretty good, but as it stands, the competition has been locked in. Chow will be picking up the Lucian. Talk me through both sides. What do you come to expect looking at this lineup?
Well, we sort of, you know, discussed on the Ardent side already, right? You have that significant AP damage profile, and Lucian has to get a hit if you want to have, you know, sort of more balanced sort of damage profile going into the mid game. And on the other side, though, we do have Leona Misfortune, always a lane that I look for when it comes to, you know, large amounts of damage. You also have the Kled and the LeBlanc and the Echo. All five of these champions, they have the ability to pop off, and all of them, sans Leona, have the ability to pump out rather lots of damage when it comes to team fights. So even though this is a match point game, even though I expect that we're gonna see safer plays from both sides, I think both teams, they have the ability to go for team fights, and it will just come down to execution once again, and who's gonna be cleaner on this game.
Right, so we'll see if Liyab's execution, which has been rather spectacular today, for all intents and purposes. They've been firing on all cylinders. Really, only certain parts that need to be sharpened up, but for the most part, I feel like it's pretty good so far. Against Ardent, who breezed through the upper bracket, they made it into the upper bracket before the day was even over yesterday, right? So they were sitting in a comfortable position. They had all the time in the world to kind of look at Liyab play today and see and formulate strategies. So it's I would think it's a matchup of execution versus strategy, because in that sense, Ardent, if they've made their proper notes, they would have known how to reply. And we saw that in the previous game, how they did their 5-man stack at level 1. They're like, okay, Liyab, when they have this aggressive comp, they like to invade 5-man through the bot, Tribar, so we're going to set up camp here. That's strategy and that's planning.
We've seen Ardent as well coming in with solid game plans as well, not just tailored to Liyab, but throughout the entirety of yesterday as well. I think the main thing that we can draw attention to was the, you know, I think it was level 4 or level 5 party in the bot lane, where you just try to sweep up as many kills as you possibly can, then transfer over to the dragon. Unfortunately, didn't work out for them in the previous game, as, you know, the jungler did get spotted out and taken away by Liyab, but, you know, we might see a bit of adaptation. Not sure if we're going to see that strategy come to fruition once again.
I always like watching the mid lane matchup of LeBlanc into Ahri, because this is very much a skill matchup in terms of Ahri being able to charm LeBlanc out of distortion, but if you land the chains, there's a whole like idea of LeBlanc has more early CC if you can, you know, weave around, but Ahri has the ability to safely wave clear. It's very interesting. Right now, if I was the LeBlanc, I would very much like for Echo to make an early visit to my lane if I was just playing this assassin. Whereas I'm sure that Jarvan will have a really tough time trying to pressure out the mid lane LeBlanc given the mobility.
Not to mention, right, that in the previous game we did see Orianna Galio, right? Galio, sure, you can roam a little bit more, but the capacity for LeBlanc and Ahri, these champions, to be a real menace in their respective team side lanes is, you know, just that much larger. So whichever champion in the mid lane does get a hit early, you would think that we'll try to extend that advantage elsewhere on the map.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys played solo queue games where LeBlanc is fed and she just comes down to bot lane 24/7 and the AD carry just doesn't get to play League of Legends, right? Even though they do still have a Braum who can block the damage, the threat level is still there. They can still look to play 4-man bot lane, especially because they are on blue side.
All right, looking at the keystones, nothing too out of the ordinary. That is gonna be a electrocute Ahri, no
Okay.
glacial augment this time.
Yep.
Gonna be
Expected.
range versus range though,
Mhm.
yeah.
I'll load it into game. But yeah, like you said, because it's range into range, you never really want to take Glacial Augment. You don't get to really proc it that much.
All right. Will there be a level 1 cheese this time? We did see the game plan come through for Ardent in the previous game.
They're pinging down already. Actually going for defensive spread here on the Ardent side, whereas for Liyab, they're actually grouping up and then looking to hold the front in mid as well as the top half of the jungle. So kind of defensive on both ends.
Yeah. Just sort of poking at each other, trying to get wards in. That's a very early ward at the Raptor camp. Not exactly sure it's going to stay long enough to spot out the Jarvan if he does go through that path. You did see a ward come down on the side of Ardent into the red camp. Not exactly going to spot out anything other than if Liyab decide to go for that that individual camp.
Right, backing off, getting the sweeper nice and early. I love that junglers actually do this, you know, they understand in the FSL even that putting early wards down, getting a sweeper gives you maximum efficiency with trinket timings as well as a increased gank percentage success.
Alright, we are seeing both junglers just start up on the same side of the map. The red buff is actually gonna... the ward on the red buff rather is actually gonna spot out
Definitely will
dead
spot this
as
out,
they
yeah.
start.
Oh man,
The red buff?
she misplayed the parallel convergence. I actually jungle echo, so I know this. You want to put it down slightly before walk over auto, and as the red buff is like in the motion of attacking you, you kind of freeze it with the parallel convergence. That way it resets the animation, you get a couple of auto attacks for free.
Ah. Not exactly sure if, you know, you see the ward in the Raptor
Right.
camp, right, on the side of Liyab.
Mhm.
I'm not sure if it actually spotted out
No.
the Jarvan because when he puffed down, I didn't see any pings come down.
It wouldn't have spotted out the Jarvan. It would have had to be on the Raptor camp to see the transition over. So
Alright.
they're doing like guesswork here at this point. They're basically thinking if Mars started on the red buff, where would she be? If she started on the blue buff, where would she be? But they know she definitely did start on the top half because Cha and Gio went into lane early, so no leash.
I actually thought they pretended to leash
Oh, okay.
for a little bit. So not exactly sure whether or not that actually went through or not. Lucian Braum is actually just gonna push out. That's gonna be how it works. But because Echo started in the bottom side, there's not much of a threat of a gank there. That ward on the red buff earlier spotting him out does give Lucian and Braum the signal that hey, you can actually push this lane up.
Level 2 has been hit by both of these teams' bot laners. The capacity for aggression is there, but I think they are content. Just resetting the waves out now. Good piercing light will tag Kofi on the exit, but the Q will not.
Yep, Jarvan is just gonna clear out the Raptor camp. Not much that he can do really. I mean, there's a ward in the tri-bush, and the fact that his bot lane is pushed up doesn't means that he cannot go into the bot lane for a gank.
Charm sailing by will not find rocks. Meanwhile, they are splitting the map in terms of scuttle crabs, so I think Din is going to be able to get this top scuttle crab. Meanwhile, in the bottom half, it's going to belong to Mars. And we saw the unique little interaction there in the mid lane between Janelle and Rocks, where if you land a chain, you can very quickly proc electrocute and just back off, jump back to your distortion origin.
Yeah, both champions here in the mid lane have actually expended a lot trying to get some early advantages in the form of damage, but both of them doing rather well, keeping themselves healthy so far, even if there is a mana discrepancy. Echo looking for a gank now.
Good flash across is going to land a stun, but under the turret though, getting knocked
Oh.
up. Good response coming in from Mars, reading the play perfectly. You have to think that was a bit of a misplay coming in from Din. She was under the turret, didn't think that she'd eat that much damage.
Yeah, that was a brilliant counter gank coming in from Mars, and the fact that Den did have to expend the flash only to die under the turret, that just puts her behind so very much in terms of capability when it comes to ganking.
Summoner spell for summoner spell blown in the mid lane, flash or ignite, but of course, like you mentioned, Din had to use her own flash to get over the wall.
Yeah, and the fact that Echo's dash isn't that, isn't that long range just makes it so much more difficult for this Echo to come back into this mid lane, despite, Ahri no longer having the flash.
It seems
herself.
like people are having problem with jumping over that wall. It doesn't make sense to me, because it's actually a pretty simple wall to jump in terms of knowing where to go through. You just have to be very careful about the spacing.
She was trying to go over the long end,
Yeah,
right?
the long
to
wall,
get
right?
into the mid lane instead of the shorter side on the, I would say shoulder.
Yeah, shoulder
the
of
mid lane?
where the brush is essentially. Yeah. I feel like if you go over that and then you kind of go towards the Ahri, you can actually land the E blink across.
Alright, Jarvan is piling down towards the Dragon. Keep in mind, Jarvan is actually one champion that can solo down that Drake rather easily if the bot lane does have priority. But as it stands, Lucian and Braum, they do not have that priority just yet, and it doesn't look like this time we're going to see much of a bot lane party.
You can see there's a bit of fear in the way Fofi and Earn are sort of extending past the river, because their read is that, okay, Ahri has been walking down a lot. She's been gesturing towards the bot lane. And Jarvan is nowhere on the map, hasn't been seen just yet. In fact, because of this control ward in the Dragon Pit, they have no idea she's here. They're very hesitant to walk up. They know that flash auto Q auto from Braum is guaranteed CC.
Now this is a sneak, right? If someone comes down, if someone on Liyab's side comes down and places a ward on this Dragon Pit, they're definitely going to spot out that Mars is in fact starting up the Dragon, and for a moment there, Lucian Braum, they were actually pushed under turret, so that was extremely risky.
Oh,
Mars going super low here, having to use the smite.
She might just actually get it, getting the steal as well as the stun. That's everything that you want there. Then makes up for the earlier play with that steal. Meanwhile, Ethereal Chains will connect, having to snap back to the Distortion Origin. And Dun finds herself on the receiving end of a surprise present.
I'm trying to figure out how she did that. There was no ward in the Dragon, and that was a blind steal, basically.
That was a blind steal. I think after a while, oh, hold on here, the Charm landing, the Ethereal Chains as well. Remember, there is no mana on this Ahri. She will be able to activate the passive of LeBlanc. But Rox here always taking these trades and always coming out ahead.
I'm still stunned by that Dragon play, yo. I mean, Jarvan usually does have a good time, just soloing down that objective. But level 4, so you can still do it, but like you saw earlier, did go rather low and did get taken out by the Echo. Very, very unfortunate, basically.
I feel like it's because we always see Jarvan players and Lee Sin players and all these junglers capable of soloing Dragon try it. It's always in the back of your mind. You're like, okay, I need to go and check this just in case they're actually doing it. The W gives vision. The moment you cast Parallel Convergence, it gives you vision, right? So when you see the thing go down, you're like, oh, it's a snap decision. I have to go in, I have to steal it.
Right, and that gives a bit of an advantage over to Liyab now with the increased regeneration.
This time going in, Jones with the bear trap on a rope will be able to pull the Rumble back, and that's actually a lot of damage. And this wave is frozen, which is why they really need to come and help Jones out, because it's going to push non-stop. She has the Tiamat, so she will be able to take the wave and clean it up.
Yeah, that was looking like a possibility of a spicy dive towards the top side. Well, not dive, a collapse rather, from the side of Ardent. You can see 4 members pathing up, as well as the Equalizer being placed down by the Rumble. As it stands though, Liyab is gonna have a 3-man stack around the Rift Herald, but they're going in.
there's no reason for them to contest this. They don't have the equalizer. They shouldn't be fighting here, even though they have the manpower. The charm is going to connect, so they're going to pick this fight. The chrono break all the way to the backline. The first member to fall is going to be the support. But meanwhile, look at the double distortion damage and the stun coming in. Box is going to clean up for sure. Suzy Soar as well as Gia. See you later. You don't have the equalizer. There's no reason for you to be fighting here. And with that, Rox is just going to pick up the kills.
Yeah, the idea of the collapse was sort of good coming in from Ardent, but they really didn't expect Rox to... I don't think, rather, they expected Rox to path up towards that fight as quickly as she did. Did manage to pick up 2 kills for herself and an assist with the huge double distortion damage like you pointed out. This LeBlanc is starting to become huge.
Yeah, this becomes a problem because then the side lane LeBlanc, who's going to answer that? The Ahri, no way, you're immobile. The only way you get out is Spirit Rush, right? So you have to end up committing resources to deal with the side lane LeBlanc, who is not only going to be rotating from the side lane to your flank, but also consistently collecting gold and EXP, right? So therein lies the problem. If you can't neutralize the LeBlanc, she's going to be making plays like this on the map. Move to the top side, sit on the flank, try to one-shot your solo laners.
Yeah, this is going to be a 3v1 towards the top side, right? There's no real answer if they decide to go for the dive.
Yeah,
but
they're just going to jam this with Carol.
Oh yeah, they're going to pick up quite a hefty chunk of turret plays. Might even get the first turret as well. Jarvan, you can see, is trying to find some sort of response in the bot side, but without Dragon alive, there's nothing much that he can do.
Yeah, and they don't even have to respect the spacing coming in. Like, literally Rox is walking just to double distort and land poke damage, while her team uses this time and space to get the structure.
Yeah, but take a look at where Jarvan is on the map. There is a small risk right now of a dive towards the bot side. But
they can't dive this because Leona has level 6. The moment you all in under, she gets aftershock proc. Yep, there's no way they should even dive this. Glacial Fissure comes out, and right now, even though she's stunned under the turret, like I said, there's no way you make this play. They're going to trade 1-for-1 Char for Fofi, and they might even get the Jarvan after. That play was a bit too over-eager. That's a double kill for Fofi, and she'll be happy with that trade.
Yeah, that's a 2-4-1 coming in favor of Liyab. Like you pointed out, not exactly sure why they went for that dive. Not only because, again, Leona was level 6, but the fact that Lucian, he had no mana. No idea what they were trying to do there, trying to make a play where one was simply not possible.
If it was something like a Misfortune Karma, Misfortune Nami, yeah, sure, you dive there any day of the week, because then the support isn't in a position to not only tank, but disrupt, right? In that small space, we saw how quickly the aftershock went down and how even at the end, Leona is still standing. Like, that is definitely a miscall.
Yeah, they had bot lane pushed up on the side of Ardent there, but now with the donation of those kills towards the side of Liyab, Misfortune and Leona, they're going to be pretty happy continuing to push up this wave. And with Echo now down here, I don't think he was spotted as he walked into that bush. If they're able to pick up these kills, that dragon is looking pretty juicy.
Yeah, they're looking for the mountain, and they just want to get the vision down first. The rotation's coming in from Gia and Cha. They see one control ward there and the other one behind it. So right now the name of the game is vision control. And it's ironic because the more Echo just stays in the bot lane, the less value there is. They're using the charge right now. Here comes the flank coming in for Jones. The Solar Flare actually catches the Braum here as the parallel convergence follows through. Stopwatch should buy some time, but look at Rox. She's just on the backline, decimating the carries. Even though there is an equalizer, it's a triple being picked up by the Echo in that small choke space of the parallel convergence.
Yeah, like you said, right, hit the nail on the head. Not sure why they decided to go for a fight in the middle of that choke space, or rather why they were there in the first place, being caught out by Liyab.
It's going to be a Cloud Dragons from here on out, and I think Rox as well as Den is going to be very happy with this because you're going to be stacking CDR from here on out for your ultimate.
Heck, everyone on Liyab is going to be pretty happy with this. All the abilities, very high impact on all of these champions, definitely can make things happen in the upcoming team fights.
This is one of those weird things as well, because now since you have 2 dragons, right? The best case scenario is 2 clouds and clouds. So I would have preferred like 4 clouds,
yeah, true.
right? Which is why I always say, like, when you look at it this way and people explain, oh, the first 2 dragons are actually not that impactful, you're like, yes, this makes sense now. Because what are you going to do with 1 mountain and 1 ocean? Very little value. They don't even compound.
All comes down to RNG, I guess, and I mean, it gets you the soul fast.
Yeah.
So that's about it, right?
That's it, yeah. If you can get them early, yeah, sure you get early quick souls. But then if you don't play it properly in the mid game, and your opponents start collecting all these random.
Yeah, that's when you
like,
start to worry.
yeah, that's when it becomes a problem. Like suddenly, oh, if you're giving away 3 or 4 clouds, Equalizer's gonna be coming like every minute.
And you can see that Ardent, without the game plan that they had sort of planned for themselves in the previous few games, you know, the early collapse, they haven't really been able to collapse and pick up on any neutral objectives, not even any turrets at this point.
Now this one, they could possibly dive if they play the lane properly, but instead they back off.
Oh man, they had the perfect setup for it as well.
That one
I
they
mean,
could have definitely dived.
look at the amount of wards they have in that bottom side river. That's insane.
Rock's getting a lot of time alone with the turret plates in the mid lane. So she will be able to collect at least 1 or 2 before they finally go down right now.
Yeah, by this point, Liyab is looking in a very comfortable position, much more comfortable than they were in the previous game. Fofi, though, has to be careful. Gia is waiting in that bush, now has shown herself, so...
I'm gonna make a bold statement and say that she doesn't care because of the item difference. It's Essence Reaver versus Bilgewater Cutlass. If you take a 2v2, even if you catch Misfortune, I doubt you have enough damage to actually find a kill.
Yeah, I'm starting to doubt the pick as well. I mean, well, I've already been doubting the pick quite a lot. The Lucian Braum...
Why play Lucian if Aphelios is open?
That's fair. We've seen Cha being basically a monster on the Aphelios.
Parallel convergence, immediately stunning up the Lucian. And like I said, why play Lucian if Aphelios is open? They find the pick, and they should probably be looking to siege bot tier 1.
Yeah, now it's Liyab who are the ones able to find a bottom lane proactive play. We didn't see too much proactiveness from them in the previous game, but this time it seems like they've really turned it on.
Execution definitely much cleaner this time, especially because look at the magic thing. Jones is ahead. The team knows how to play when Jones is ahead. It all falls into place.
It's nice to see, right? Like we came into the first day seeing Liyab not exactly having the cleanest performance.
We're like, oh man, really? Like that?
They drop in the lower bracket, and then you know they go back, they practice, they come into the second day, and it's like, you know, something really clicked, and they're now being able to execute
it's like the
better and better as time goes on.
That arc in the anime where the protagonist like loses and then now has to go and train. Speaking of train, look at the damage. Everyone is just going in. Pops the Chrono Break rather and gets out. Meanwhile, the bullet time on the backline, ripping them apart. Mars is inside the Cataclysm. And a weird, odd execute coming from Fofi, who is channeling the bullet time there. But it's okay. They get the Ari. They lose Fofi in a unfortunate accident. We'll just call it that.
Yeah, unfortunate accident. You don't give over the goal, but you do lose a significant amount of tempo. I think if you just back away from that, you could have actually siege down this mid lane turret. Then is going in again.
Yeah. She does not have the Chrono Break just yet. It will be up in less than a minute. I think somewhere in the range of 30 seconds should be good. Looking for the Rift Herald though. It's at 16 minutes, the second Rift Herald of this game, if I'm not wrong.
Not actually gonna start it up. Jones being chased away. Oh man,
it's
feels
okay.
bad, man. Right, we are seeing Ardent beginning to path towards this mid lane tower. Not gonna actually siege it down, so it's gonna be defended.
Items are starting to come in, and these are like full completed set items, right? So Tiamat and Black Cleaver for the top lane, Proto Belt for the jungler, Luden's Echo for the mid laner, and Essence Reaver, which was already there for Misfortune. Versus, you know, on the other side, bits and pieces of everything. It's really difficult for Ardent to even come close to itemizing, and Fofi now getting caught out, actually trying to land a stun. Here comes the Solar Flare. They lock up the Braum, and even though the Carling started it all, it will be Gia that goes down.
Yeah, super unfortunate. I'm not exactly sure why they decided to go for that. I mean, you can see a little bit of desperation leaking into the plays that Ardent is trying to make here. And you know what the most unfortunate thing of all of this is? I just loaded on the scoreboard. All of Ardent's kills are on Jarvan 4. And, you know, Jarvan
this
being
is a
the
tanky
jungler...
Jarvan.
Oh, it is a tanky Jarvan, going for the Cinderhalt build. Basically once they hit 20 minutes in the game, Jarvan does no damage.
If this was like a Chet, Lethality, Warrior Jarvan with Electrocute, I'd be like, yeah, I'm down for that, but no. This is a Conqueror, sit there and take damage and try to deal some true damage with Conqueror Jarvan.
Now he gets to be extra tanky with all the extra gold. I mean,
not this way, man. Not like this.
Yeah, you'll survive for like an extra 0.25 seconds. That's about it with the amount of damage that Liyab is bringing to these fights. And Janelle,
for the play. This should be a kill coming in. Using the Spirit Rush to get out.
But yeah, you can see Rock, with all these kills and all these advantages beginning to stack up, is able to chunk out the Ahri with one rotation, now basically forcing her to have to return to base to heal up. And now with the second Rift Herald in their pockets, you would have to think they're going to channel it in the mid lane and just try to open up the map even further.
Yeah, given the amount of health, I feel like channeling it now though might be not not worth.
True.
Especially because they've already grouped up.
Yeah.
There is no rush to really use this Rift Herald.
Just take the turret.
Yeah, just take the turret, there's no rush. In fact, if you win a big team fight and then you Herald, I feel like that's the maximum value, right? And Liyab has shown in this game at least they're not afraid to fight because they are ahead. So just hold on to the Rift Herald, make full use of the enhanced recall, you know, get maximum value of it.
Right, Kled's in a bit of trouble here.
Is Kled in trouble
He
or
can just
is
charge
Mars
out.
in trouble?
Oh, wait.
Because literally turned around onto the Jarvan.
Yeah, with the pressure in the mid lane building up from the rest of Liyab, now summoning the Rift Herald, did actually manage to circumvent any sort of dive on the Kled.
Yeah, all the attention was focused on the top side. Remember, Jarvan detoured, so now this is space that they have. Might be able to find another charge forward as it's getting set up. The parallel convergence coming in. They get two charges off. Here comes the equalizer as well. Braum is in front, tanking it all up. The Cataclysm locks the backline. Oh, but here comes the bullet time. You're not locked in here with me. This is a bad situation, and now they're all running away.
I'm not locked in here if you're locked in here with me.
That was what I was going for. I was like, nah, this is too cliched. I'm opting out of this.
Yeah, you don't have to. And I mean, yeah, they didn't have to even win a team fight to basically get maximum efficiency out of their Rift Herald. They basically, you know, they saw Jarvan walk up to top side. They say, okay, if you're going there, we're gonna take your base. So they managed to pick up an inhibitor 20 minutes into the game. I was expecting a close game, but basically they're just unlocking the map.
At least I have my answer to the question earlier. What does Liyab look like when the top lane snowballs versus doesn't snowball, right? And I had a few other questions regarding the efficiency of the mid and bot solo laners, or the carries as they were. But this game has answered a lot of my, or at least reinstated a lot of the confidence.
Personally, my favorite part of this, again, is that they are being proactive. A lot of these plays that we are seeing from them, they might have made in the previous game. But it might not have been as clean as we are seeing this time.
Ooh, managing to find a steal there as well. It's just the icing on the cake. Dun is fearless at this point. Chrono Break is going to be coming up in a couple of seconds, which is why she has really no fear at all. And Chrono Break is such an annoying spell to deal with, especially when the Echo has Stopwatch.
Stopwatch and Chrono Break. You basically should not be able to kill this Echo short of 100-0, but with the damage that Ardent has built, it's just gonna be basically not possible. And now they're trying their best to set up some vision around the Baron Nashor. They don't want Liyab to sneak it away, because obviously if you take the Baron right now, I think it just ends the game if Liyab ends up getting it.
They have to secure the area a bit more carefully. This top tier 2 is definitely going to fall here as the Zenith Blade pulls the Leona in. Solar Flare was a bit of a whiff there, as then also completely with the stopwatch. You have to think Liyab are having a little bit too much fun here.
Mars?
Looking for the re-engage, actually finding multiple members. This is a good knock-up and a good column to fight in. Here comes the equalizer as well. Rox is the only member left alive. Meanwhile, Jones joining in. They managed to land all the damage with Rox just kiting around. Jones still chasing in for the kill onto Janelle because they managed to find 4 there. But thankfully, the gold was on the LeBlanc. She's been built up to this point where she's actually doing a lot of damage by kiting in and out.
Yeah, definitely. Staying alive, being able to chunk out the entirety of Ardent with all those distortions and combos. LeBlanc is huge at this point. She's just going to get even more huge with the gold that she just managed to pick up. But the idea of the engage coming in from Ardent was pretty good.
That was a really good engage.
Yeah, with no wards, the Jarvan jumping in, and the Cataclysm with the MF no longer having ult. That should have been a one-team fight had this LeBlanc not been that far ahead.
If it was like 7 minutes ago, maybe that wins them or turns the tides of the game. But because this LeBlanc is so far ahead, right, it becomes a problem. Like, how else could you realistically turn the fight if you're this far behind?
And with all those resources being expended towards the top side, that just allows Liyab to set up around the final, what should be the final win rate of the game. As you can see, he's going down so quickly. There is no chance of a contest coming in from Ardent. I think you just back away at this point. You don't even want to take a fight.
Do they reset here? I think you should go back and buy, especially because you're looking for core items on full free. She should be picking up the Infinity Edge here.
Yeah, Liyab backing right now, just gonna have that much damage once they come out from their base once again. We're looking at 1 or 2 more final fights before the end of the game. Might even be, you know, just if you can take away 3 members of Ardent, you could even just try to run into the enemy base just like that. But as it stands, we're gonna see Liyab beginning to threaten the Baron once again.
Then has double Cloud Drake, right? You're gonna see how annoyingly low the cooldown of Chrono Break is. So she's just gonna walk in, soak all the damage, buys time for her team, pop out with Chrono Break, and this is the fight ensuing. Jones, of course, is in the center of it all because she's Kled. She doesn't care. And then is just going to jump back in once more. Managing to land the CC. Now the Cataclysm to buy some space. Suzy Sor as well as Cha manages to get out. But at the end of that, I think that's the trade done. And I just want to direct your attention over to the Echo. The out is already halfway on cooldown.
Yo, that is broken, right? Hello?
Yeah, I told you, dude.
I thought you were joking. What is this? That is insane.
Yeah,
but
this really is broken. So now she can use it again, by the way, for this fight.
I don't even think there's gonna be much of a fight. I mean, you clear away 3 members, right? Yep. Okay, sure. Braum is respawning. I think if you take another favorable engage here, you just win the game.
Yep, could go in once more. I think Ardent is feeling herself right now as they re-engage, but will get caught out by the DPS coming through from the Lucian.
All right, they're taking the safe route, just backing away now that the Leona has in fact died.
Yep.
I think they're just gonna revert to, you know, they're gonna reset. They're gonna try to contest, threaten the Baron once again. But honestly, I don't think they're actually there's no need to start it up, right? I think they want to bait out Ardent. Once they manage to find a favorable fight, they can just go in and they can just end the game.
See the pings on the bot lane because they understand that that wave is going to be crashing and it could very well finish off the bot tier 2. That being said, mid inhibitor did respawn, so they're not going to have a super minion pressure in the mid lane anymore.
Alright. Ardent is now in a bit of an aggressive position around the Baron pit. Liyab, don't have any information as to whether or not Ardent is gonna start that up. This is an interesting thing, right? Ardent, even though they're so far behind throughout basically the entirety of this game, they have had excellent vision control.
Oh yeah.
You saw that they had a lot of wards in the bottom side river when the dragon was up, and now they have...
The wards are still there, right?
True.
Around that trifecta of vision between the red buff as well as just behind the dragon. It just goes to show fundamentals are good, right? Oh, hold on. The burst coming in. Look at that. If the E connected, that's GG, right?
Yep.
They walk in for the inhibitor once more, looking to finish off the structure and buy more pressure in the mid lane through super minions.
Yeah, and with super minions now on the board once again, it just frees up Liyab to continue, you know, forcing these advantages. They might even be able to take the Baron if the cards fall in the right place.
Dotting the I's, crossing the T's, slowly moving across the map and taking down the structures. No reason to be too hasty.
You know, at this point, I think you can afford to be a little hasty, right? You're about 9k gold ahead.
Fair enough.
And we've seen, you know, Liyab having a few issues closing out the game. It's this stage of the game that I think they really struggle with.
Yeah.
And you know, if they're able to try to force something, they're able to execute cleanly and just end the game right out there because the options are there, right? I think that would go a long way to assuaging these fears.
Oof. Combo there coming through, chunking Mars out, and this is your tanky member of the team, right? So have to see how this one plays out as they continue to push 4 members in bot, a single solo Echo in mid, and rightly so because of the mobility of the Echo can come in through a flank and make life very difficult for Ardent if they stay around too long. Then consistently threatening the re-engage in with the parallel converted as well as the phase dive.
Yep, and with minions crashing towards the top side, that's a pretty big wave. This turret, Ardent is forced to Ardent's forced to handle the mid wave, so this turret should be going down.
Looking for the play here, actually doing decent damage here is Cha on the top side. Delusion with the Essence Reaver as well as the Phantom Dancer doing a lot of DPS. Oh, there goes the one shot, using the Spirit Rush to get out. The Solar Flare though on top of Suzy sort of forces the flash out as well from the Ahri, so they managed to get the play done. They will open up the bot tier, bot inhibitor turret with all the ultimates expanded. Yeah,
and this is the issue. This is the issue of these fights right now, right? They're individually just not as strong on the side of Ardent as their Liyab counterparts. So if they try to match hit for hit, that's not gonna work out. And the ability that Liyab is showing right now to just stretch their competitors across the map is just speaking volumes to how well practiced they are right now.
Mars is walking into the jungle trying to get some vision down. Cha meanwhile is chasing Den away.
They're resetting again.
They are resetting because Inferno, excuse me, rather, the Elder Dragon is going to be up very soon. So they need to get their buys in before they can control the area around. Vision is necessary, so control wards will be coming out.
Yep, and with 2 inhibitors down, it just makes it so difficult for Ardent to make their way out of the base. It honestly is just basically impossible for them to count out and counter any sort of Baron and or Dragon take that Liyab may attempt to do. Like I said, Elders coming up very, very soon. It's 19 seconds at the moment.
Yeah, so they get the full reset. Remember, they're completely blind here. There's no vision, which is why Den is leading the charge with the annoyingly low cooldown of Chrono Break. You can just take the CC if you don't get one shot. Of course, with Zhonya's now, there's no way you can really kill this Echo. It gets really frustrating now.
Yeah, and you can see with Kled in the top side, Ardent, they don't really know what they have. They don't really know what they can do there. Clumped up as a 4 unit in the mid lane, and this is just wasted time as Liyab is spending it rather wisely, taking down the Elder Dragon with 0 contest. This should be the end of the game.
Should be the end with a 5-man Elder Drake buff, barring some random interplay coming in. Rox could actually find a solo kill here. If she gets into range of charge, she might be able to do it, but no. Because in the past, you see her combos, they've been dropping people to like 40%, 45%. This is the range where Elder Dragon execute is close, you know. So she's just waiting off in the wings for a potential pick, as it were.
Yeah, they're just making sure that they have all their bases covered.
Yep.
Now,
why is the jungler not inside the pit?
I mean, he can dash in the pit. It's
no!
fine.
Alright, looking for the one shot there, almost getting it onto Susie's or meanwhile Din. Throws down the parallel convergence, needs to dash over the wall for the smite though. Throwing the bullet time away just for style points.
Might as well.
I'll give it to you.
Who cares?
It's fine.
Alright.
All they have to do is just walk it in the top lane right now.
They don't even have to take the top lane. They can walk in the mid. It's fine. You can just end the game.
That sound though means it's time to go in for the fight as they're chasing in onto Chan. There's no way she's getting out, especially with the Elder Dragon burn buff going down. Jones is gonna die eventually, as you can see. The health bar is very low, and there's the first execution coming in for the Elder Dragon. Rox is on fire. I mean that very literally as she's just dashing forward.
Right now they're gonna take the inhibitor, and with 1 kill now on the board, there isn't much of a chance for Ardent to come back in this game. Then again, Liyab does have low health bars.
Looking to go back in, a great stun will find the backline, and Mars is very low on health now. Rox is just dipping, dodging, and diving around, playing with their cooldowns.
Or they can just hit the Nexus, that works too.
They can hit the Nexus, that could be very easy for them to finish off, but they can also pad their KDAs as they're sitting around in base, and that's going to be GG. Liyab, for the second time in FSL circuit, will be the Philippines representatives.
Yeah, like you said, the anime redemption arc for this Liyab roster really coming into fruition now from a, I'm not gonna lie, a bit of a disappointing first day.
Right.
Now being able to have a rather clean performance against what was Ardent Esports in the grand finals of the Philippine qualifiers.
I think you're quite justified to say you were disappointed by their performance yesterday, because it started out with me praising their fundamentals. I was like, oh wow, they managed to find a top lane teleport advantage and they're using it. This is like really, really good as a fundamental skill. And then, you know, they kind of flopped on the execution on that. I was like, well, maybe not, right?
Yeah, man, you hyped me up.
Yeah, I hyped you up, and well, they came in today, they cleaned up their play, and this is what we expected yesterday, but they showed today.
Yeah, definitely cleaned up their performance. Now, they're gonna, join us here in Singapore for FSL Elite. I believe that's on the 7th and 8th of March. Special thanks to our venue sponsor, TechType, for hosting this community event.
At least the Philippine qualifiers was awesome to have all the players in a single spot. It made things a lot easier as well. And not to mention the community aspect, right? You think about playing a tournament, it's always great when you have like a literal physical venue where you all compete as opposed to like an online one. So I really appreciate that. Thank you guys over at TechType. But before we go, we got to shout out the rest of our sponsors as well. Dreamcore, Super Solid, Aftershock, Yahoo as well for hosting our channels. And if anything to say, last words?
No, I mean, I'll say the same thing as I did yesterday. GGWP.
GGWP. If you need to find us on social media, our tags are here. It's pretty much the same. You can just Google us. From on behalf of our production crew and everyone here at FSL, our OBs, and the people running the tournament, thank you for tuning in so much. We will see you guys in 2 weeks for the Singapore, Malaysia, and Indonesia qualifiers, which will conclude, the qualifier phase before we move to FSL Elite. And for any and more further information, do follow us on the official channels, our Facebook pages. I think we have an Instagram as well, so do stay tuned to those places for all the news. For now, we'll be signing off. Have a good evening. We'll see you all in 2 weeks.